A new Chief Justice have been named. That is what we are learning. Coming from Felix Ofosu-Kwakye, who happened to be with the president of the communications at the presidency. Now, this particular he was an acting new Chief Justice after Tokonu was deposed and as a sacked. And you didn't see was on your acting. A dinia, your friend Baffoe-Bonnie. Now, Minuka say Baffoe-Bonnie in the US, whilst President Mahama was attending to UN conference near the Adenom, and on the press release about say Ghana for Sisiano, there's a new Chief Justice in town. Now, let's read this particular press release. There are two screens so. Or say, President Mahama nominates His Lordship Justice Paul Baffoe-Bonnie, okay, as Chief Justice, and this came some few hours ago. Today, the September 23rd, 2025. So let's read it. Who this particular man is. Or say, President John Dramani Mahama has, in accordance with Article 144, Clause 1 of the 1992 Constitution, forwarded the name of His Lordship Justice Paul Baffoe-Bonnie to the Council of State for consideration as Chief Justice of the Republic of Ghana. So they are saying that John Dramani Mahama is using this, okay, Article 144 Clause 1, no, say, okay, to me, I had their man, no, say, on nominated new Chief Justice, no, eduho, into no, I nominated His Lordship or your bar, His Leadership or Bema, His Lordship. So, His Lordship Justice Paul Baffoe-Bonnie as the new Chief Justice. Justice Paul Baffoe-Bonnie has throughout his distinguished judicial career served with diligence and integrity at the High Court, the Court of Appeal, and currently the Supreme Court. So this man is not new to the corridors of justice. He being a judge, he's done remarkably there. He being a judge at the Court of Appeal, he being a Supreme Court judge, he's done so well. He being a High Court judge, he's done so well. So he has the track record. Also, he has made invaluable contributions to the development of Ghanaian jurisprudence. Into a part said Ghana, your justice system, no. They be a correction, they pay Justice Paul Baffoe-Bonnie, no. We're making a lot of amendments and suggestions. Wama Ghana, Yembrano, Etumpong. Yes, also enter Subim Ewahasi. Also, he's earned the esteem of the bench, the bar, and the wider legal fraternity for his intellect, impartiality, and unwavering commitment to justice. So they are saying that this man is impartial. On serving Mahama, on serving a political party. Aside from that, to our dream, he's smart and also he's committed to upholding the constitution and the laws of this country. Yes, and so I say his wealth of experience and long serving on the bench render him eminently qualified for the high office of the Chief Justice. His Lordship has been serving as acting Chief Justice since 22nd April 2025. The advice are paying, so far he's tried, he's done well, and the why yes so far no. Just say indeed he can really do the job. Into Ebra Chief Justice Tokonu, she was deposed of her position April 22nd. No. His Excellency John Dramani Mahama actually, a friend is saying, nominated him to be the acting Chief Justice and delivered remarkably well. So they believe, say, now is the time for him to actually take the mantle. But then, regardless, a little check on this particular man. Share a same way. Also, repealing LI 2462 is a good place to start if you all want to win the war against Galamsey. So the recent arguments are MPP 4 making say, let's repeal the LI 2427. He says he support it. So for someone to support the opposition's idea or demands, perhaps it is ringing the bell of impartiality. Again, on this same note, Attorney General Ayini Minuka say a petition akoma the Supreme Court says Chief Justice Tokonu if you are appointing a new person, he wants to seek interpretation. Say Chief Justice Tokonu, does she still have the moral right to serve as a Supreme Court Justice at the Apex Court or not? It's going to be a legal showdown because Gertrude Tokonu has once again taken this matters to courts. Madam Gertrude Tokonu has once again taken this matter to court. So Chief Justice, Mr. Chief Justice, Attorney General Ayini, he wants to know the way forward in terms of this whole issue at Air Coso. What will really happen? and the idea obi apeso. So once again we are live in same bibre air course. But I mean no can say there's also cause, okay, an argument for us to know exactly what is really going on in regards with your friend is saying our new chief justice, because there are questions. So okay, see our new chief justice now wabano old one so me no kasa no obi ababe kasa. Now this is what nipa wababe kasa, this is exactly what he's saying. Nipa wababe kasa friend lawyer Kofi Bentil, who is the vice president of Imani Africa. Sisian or Pache say Chief Justice Toko no asan call back to court, no. Is it a good thing or not? No, he was reacting to this. And I say yes. For Chief Justice Tokonu to go and continue to go and go and go, and she doing this, no, it is testing the boundaries of Ghana, our legal framework. Is it really strong? Is it really right? Is it at the right place? Yenko tie lawyer Kofi Bentil in Sema Odi Tuja. Babaka, we will continue with more news right here on this particular platform, Pinaxtv.
Yes, so let me find out from you. I'm sure you heard Madam Ayana there with her argument, and even some cases that have already been decided. This time around, the dismissed CJ is in court because she says the petitions that were brought against her were brought against her to remove her as a chief justice and not as a justice of the superior court. And so that's what she's in court challenging now. But the other side of the argument is that you're the same person. We're not dealing with two persons. So why do you fight for this? You're a lawyer. Where do you stand on this?
Right. So good morning to everybody and Madam in the studio. Where I stand on it is that, look, I heard Madam saying she's not a lawyer, and then she proceeded to give some unsolicited advice. And then she made some comments as if to say, why is the CJ fighting this and how can she come back, etc. That's a very typical Ghanaian thing, and we, often do that. But in a matter like this, we need to appreciate that, one, that the CJ, as somebody who has been a judge for over 20 years, risen to the topmost position in the judiciary as Chief Justice, and also surrounded by her lawyers, etc., is well advised and properly competent to make some of those decisions herself. So I think that the unsolicited advice is fine, but we should not proceed to make some of these emotionally charged, I don't want to say suggestions, but maybe comments.
Mr. Bentil, before you continue, you think that whatever Madam Ayana said is rather more of emotions. You've heard even lawyers make that same argument.
So let me finish my point. I am saying there is a tendency within the Ghanaian, population for people to give some of these unsolicited advice, as if to say the person does not know what she's doing. And I'm saying that person,
she doesn't need to.
Madam says she's not a lawyer, but that person who we are talking about rose to the highest position in the judiciary in this country. So please, what I'm saying is that there is a reason why she will do what she's doing. And we should hold her, especially when you clearly express that you don't agree with her and you think she should go home, quote unquote. So please, let's leave it alone. Let the woman make her, decisions, and we can make the commentary and other things that we want to make and leave it there. My point substantially is this. Look, when you say things about, oh, it doesn't work well, it doesn't sound well, it doesn't look well, those are the emotive issues. But there is law, and you don't know, but the fact is that the law is better served when it is tested. And indeed, a lot of the cases and things that we apply happen because people rose up to test the law, and then better, explanations were given of the law. All right. It was laid out better. It was clarified better. Today, a lot of the cases or a lot of the situations we refer to are from the Ejechum case. Ejechum is a similar situation that went to the Supreme Court, and they used that opportunity to explain some of the provisions in the Constitution. That is the intention of law, that when the Constitution is written, not everything will be there. So when there are issues and situations rise, you take it there, and it gives opportunity to express the law further. So I'm simply saying that, look, we can say, oh, if left to me alone, I think she shouldn't do this or she shouldn't do that. But when we start adding the value judgments and start sounding a bit judgmental about it, and she's not being advised well, and I think we should tone down on some of those things. Look, as a lawyer, and you ask me if I'm a lawyer, I am happy this is happening. And honestly, just like Madam is saying, if CJ Tokonu was thinking about herself only, I don't think she will not be able to sustain herself or get another job or do whatever it is. What she's doing, okay, is maybe to her detriment, at least emotionally, but it is to the benefit of the rest of the country.
Mr. Bento,
and we
so,
need to start appreciating some of these things.
Mr. Bento, I'll let you come in, but the question again is to what end? Because already you've taken cases to court that you've had the court say that they were unmeritorious. So why are you going to court with the same issues that eventually, not trying to be prejudicial, but the court may say that you don't really have the facts as you should?
Okay, to what end? Let me explain what the law is. Number one, nothing is final in a constitutional republic unless there is a judicial pronouncement on it or the statute of limitations runs out on it. I repeat, nothing, even when you elect the president, when you are given an appointment to anything, it is not final until there is a judicial pronouncement on it or the statute of limitations runs. If you choose not to proceed to have a judicial pronouncement, then it remains as it is. So first thing that people must appreciate is that whatever is done in a constitutional republic, the courts have a say on it. And if whoever is affected decides to go to court, everything must wait for the judiciary to make a pronouncement on it. And let me explain the meaning of pronouncement. When you say, oh, she's tried here and she's tried there and it has not been successful, that is the design of the system. You start from lower courts. And I can tell you as a lawyer, there are people who lose at circuit courts. They lose at district court. They may lose at the high court. There are cases where the person they lose at the appeals court, they go to the Supreme Court, and then they win. I can give you some of these cases, but I don't think it's necessary. But just take this from me. You can lose every way down the line and win at the Supreme Court. And even at the Supreme Court, there can be a review that can change some aspects of what has happened in the Supreme Court itself. In fact, the Supreme Court can depart from its own judgments in an earlier ruling. So please, let's get this right. This is the kind of system that we run. The fact that she's lost in an earlier situation does not mean it has run out. And until the judiciary makes a final pronouncement, it is not done. So that is why this is necessary. Let her get through and use all the resources available.